Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This is my very first chatty book haul, and the reason why I wanted to do this is because I have so many amazing books to share with you guys, and I really wanted to make the most out of this video to talk about them because I have read some of these and I have loved them all so much. So I just really wanted this chance to be able to share all of my thoughts and my feelings of some of these books, and hopefully recommend you guys to pick them up as well because some of these books are truly so amazing. Hopefully this is the first of many chatty book hauls to come. So before we begin, I'd just like to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Book of the Month. I'm so excited to be partnering with Book of the Month. I have seen Book of the Month across Instagram and YouTube for the longest time, and honestly I am so excited to be working alongside them. So Book of the Month is a book subscription service that lets you choose a brand new hardcover fiction book each month from a curated list. So if you ever struggle to find your next read, this makes it really simple because Book of the Month handpicks a solid lineup of fiction books each month, and all I have to do is just pick the book that I think sounds the most interesting, and if none of the titles interest you that month, you are able to skip it as well. Alright, so let's get into the book that I picked out for March. This is so pretty. So the first book that I picked out is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. I love this tagline. It says, "They have lived each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They have killed each other in every one." So I will read the synopsis of this book. It says, Evelyn can remember all of her past lives. She can also remember that in every single one, she has been murdered before her 18th birthday by Arden, a supernatural being linked to her soul. The problem is that she's quite fond of the life she's in now, and her little sister needs her in order to stay alive. If Evelyn wants to save her sister, she will have to find the centuries-old devil who hunts her through each life before they find her first, figure out why she's being hunted, and finally break the curse, and try not to fall in love again. Honestly, this was a really good book. I will talk more about my thoughts about this book in my next video, but for now, I think I would just really highly recommend this book to everyone. I actually really want to annotate this book as well, and this cover is just so pretty. Alright, the next book that I picked out for March is actually by an author that I've been meaning to read from. It is called Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I think her other work is called Once There Were Wolves, if I'm not mistaken. I was just so drawn by this beautiful cover. I just love the golden hour theme around here. It just looks very mysterious, but also very soft and gentle. Alright, I will read the blurb out for this one as well. It says, Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, a tiny island not far from Antarctica. Home to the world's largest seed bank, Shearwater was once full of researchers, but with sea levels rising, the Salts are now its final inhabitants. Until, during the worst storm the island has ever seen, a woman mysteriously washes ashore. Isolation has taken its toll on the Salts, but as they nurse the woman, Rowan, back to strength, it begins to feel like she might be what they need. Rowan, long accustomed to protecting herself, starts imagining a future where she could belong to someone again. But Rowan isn't telling the whole truth about why she set out for Shearwater. And when she discovers sabotaged radios and a freshly dug grave, she realizes Dominique is keeping his own secrets. As the storms on Shearwater gather force, they all must decide if they can trust one another enough to protect the precious seeds in their care before it's too late, and if they can finally put the tragedies of the past behind them to create something new together. A novel of breathtaking twist, dizzying beauty, and ferocious love, Wild Dark Shore is about the impossible choices we make to protect the people we love, even as the world around us disappears. That sounds incredible, doesn't it? When I first read the synopsis, I thought that just sounds so meaningful, and it sounds like it's gonna be very lyrical and deep and also emotionally impactful, and that's exactly what I want right now. So these were the 2 Book of the Month books that I picked out for March. Once again, thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's videos. So if you would like to join Book of the Month, now is the perfect time. I will leave that link down in the description below, and you can grab your first book for just $9.99 with the code CLOVER for a limited time only. Once again, thank you so much to Book of the Month for wanting to partner with me in this video. Alright, now let's get on to the other books in this book haul. I have so many to share with you guys. I will split the rest of these books into two categories. First category is books that I bought myself, books that I bought secondhand from bookstores, etc. And the second category will be books that I received from publishers and from friends. So the first book that I have to show you guys is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Soo. So I actually bought this book because it was our February book club pick, and I've actually listened to this on audio, but I saw this book online on Facebook Marketplace for $5 from a lady that was not living far away from me, so I thought that's such a good deal and I went to pick it up from her, and I honestly love this cover so much. It's so stunning. I love the pink and the flowers and the golden foil, and the spine is so pretty as well. So this is a story that's inspired by the legend of Chang'e, the moon goddess. So Chang'e is being exiled by the celestial empress for stealing a secret elixir that grants her immortality. And then Chang'e's magic flares up, which catches the attention of the celestial empress. So Xingyin is forced to flee her home and go to the celestial kingdom to sort of hide her identity. So Xingyin disguises herself in the celestial kingdom and tries to find a way to rescue her mom. And along the way, she goes through different quests and adventures. She learns new things. She meets new people. And I actually already finished this book as well. I unfortunately didn't enjoy it that much, which is honestly pretty devastating to me, because I remember when I first announced that this was the February pick for our book club, I was in the airport in Sydney on the way back to Perth, and I saw this book in the bookstore and I read, I think, the first 5 to 10 pages, and I fell completely in love with the writing, and I thought, okay, I'm definitely going to be buying this book for my book club. And then as I was reading it, for some reason I just couldn't get into the story after 5 chapters or so. I thought the introduction and the opening of this book was just so pretty and soft and very emotional as well. For some reason I just can't get into the physical book, and so I switched to the audiobook of this, and I thought that was a lot better because I feel like this has a very storytelling sort of voice, kind of like something you would read to your children during bedtime. Honestly, I just thought the writing worked better as an audiobook. To each their own, of course, but I preferred it that way, and I think I ended up giving this book a 2 out of 5 stars only because I really appreciate the writing. I thought it was so pretty. I thought the world building was amazing, but the story just took a turn that I felt really confused about and very conflicted, and I actually discussed these conflicting points with my book club, and yeah, we had a really great time discussing this book, and I'm so happy to the people who actually enjoyed this one. So yeah, I'm not sure if I will be picking up the sequel for this, but yeah, only time will tell. But for now, this is the first book. And alright, the next book is actually a book that I got from the US, only because I love the US edition so much, and it's also my very first favorite book of 2025, and the book is Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. And I read an arc of this back in December, and I think I finished it towards the end of December as well, and I fell completely in love with this book. It's one of my anticipated reads of 2025 actually, and I was so grateful to be able to read an early copy of it. So Water Moon is about a pawn shop that people can sell their regrets to, and it's hidden behind this cozy ramen store that not everyone can get through. So some people will walk into the ramen store and find ramen, but there are select people who will walk into the ramen store and actually end up in this pawn store. And so this book follows Hana, who wakes up in the morning where she was supposed to inherit this pawn shop from her dad, but she wakes up to find that her dad is missing, and that a stranger has come into the pawn shop and has offered to help her to find her missing father. So this just has the most dreamy Studio Ghibli vibes, and by that I mean it's just so whimsical and sweet and nostalgic and very emotional as well. Very wholesome and very deep and meaningful. This is definitely the book that you can put on Studio Ghibli songs in the background while you're reading. It's just so magical. I will show you in a minute why I chose to buy this US edition of Watermoon, but I am planning to create an annotate with me video for this, just like I did with Jade City. So I will be annotating this whole book front and back. So this was the arc that I read, and you can see that I have tabbed so much of this book, and as some of you guys may know, I don't actually annotate my arcs just because I see them as gifts from publishers and I don't really want to damage them in any way. So I am thinking of transferring all of my annotations, or all of my tabs, to this edition. And I will show you guys all of this in that annotate with me video. So it's going to be a really long annotate with me video with background noises and music, potentially a Pomodoro timer as well, so you guys can relax and study and read or journal alongside it. So that's the idea for this book. I will show you the inside. So this is the end papers, and it's actually instructions on how you can fold the dust jacket into an origami boat, which is so cool. That's what it looks like. And inside, hardback is so stunning. This is the reason why I bought the US edition, because this is just so pretty. There are honestly so many beautiful editions of Watermoon out there right now, and I actually bought one special edition which you guys will see in potentially my next book haul video, but I'm so excited to show you guys. It's just so pretty. Honestly, all of the Watermoon special editions are beautiful, but this is the one that I went for because I just love this hardback so much. And this is what the end papers look like. So there's like the lines that will help you fold this into an origami boat, and at this stage I don't think I'm going to be doing that, just because I love this dust jacket as well. It's just so pretty, and I love the art in here as well, but at the moment I love it the way it is. So yes, highly recommend this. Super cozy, super sweet. Again, my first favorite book of 2025. Yes, highly recommend this. I love it so much. Alright, the next two books I picked up from a local bookstore that recently opened here in Perth actually. It's in Leaderville and it's called Boundless Books. So the first book is A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrian Young. Again, this is one of my most anticipated books of 2025. I absolutely love Adrian Young's books. I love The Unmaking of June Farrow, I love Spells for Forgetting, and I absolutely love the World of Donero series, which is Fable, Saint, and Namesake. I was quite surprised to receive this because it's a pretty small book. I actually didn't check how big this book was, but yeah, I'm quite surprised to know that it's actually not very big at all. I think it's actually less than 300 pages. That's very surprising, but yeah, I've actually started reading this as well just because I'm so excited for this book, and I love this physical copy. I want to annotate this as well. So this book follows James, and her twin brother Johnny was recently killed in a tragic accident. So James travels back to the town where Johnny was killed, and that was also the town where she grew up in. So over there she goes to settle all of her brother's things and tries to sort of collect the pieces from before her brother got killed. And while she goes through his things and picks up these pieces, she finds that there are secrets that Johnny never told her, and so James has lots of questions, and she will soon discover what really happened a few days before Johnny got killed. So far, I am loving this a lot. The writing is so nostalgic for some reason, and it's so gentle, and I love the way Adrian Young writes these like small town, autumnal, sort of mysterious and eerie stories. I just think that they're very enchanting, and I'm not sure if you guys know, but I absolutely love stories that follows twins because I am a twin myself, and yeah, I had no idea that Adrian Young had a twin brother, so that's just very cool to me, and yeah, I can't wait to read more of this. I am about 88 pages in, and honestly I love it so much. This is also our March book club pick of the month. I'm so happy that it's our March book club pick of the month because again, it is one of my most anticipated reads of this year. I'm trying not to get through this very quickly so I can read it alongside my book club. But yeah, I won't say much about it just because we're still in early March and I want to really savor this book and be able to read it alongside everyone else in the book club. Alright, the next book that I got is A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. I believe I finished A River Enchanted this month. I listened to the audiobook and I fell completely in love with the story. It was honestly so pretty and cozy, and I loved the characters so much. Normally when I listen to an audiobook, I don't buy the physical book unless I love the book. So obviously I love A River Enchanted so much that I bought a physical copy of A Fire Endless. This paperback is so pretty. I just love, again, the foiling on this. I love the red and the flowers. It's just such a pretty cover to look at. I'm so excited. I have also started this a little bit. I was on site for work for a few days and I brought this with me to read. The perfect book to read before bed, to be honest, because it's such a soft and cozy and lyrical and also very emotional book. And so a perfect segue to this is I actually bought A River Enchanted as well. I bought these two separately just because I thought I could find A River Enchanted secondhand, but it proved to be a lot harder than I thought it would be, so I got this in my local bookstore. I love that they match. So this is what the spine looks like. So pretty. I love it. I love how it's like blue for water and then red for fire, obviously. So in this island, young girls are beginning to go missing. So Adira, who is the heiress of the East, tries to seek help from her old childhood enemy Jack, who is a bard who can sort of communicate and draw spirits with the songs that he sing and the instruments that he play with. And yeah, that's the main premise of this book. It's just such an enthralling read. I honestly wish I read this book physically so that I can annotate it front to back, but the audiobook is beautiful and I highly recommend it. Overall, I just really highly recommend this book. Weirdly enough, I didn't really enjoy Rebecca Ross's Enchantment of Letters duology, which is Divine Rivals. Divine Rivals was one of our book club picks last year or 2 years ago, and yeah, weirdly, I didn't really enjoy the book very much. This one is more mature. I think it's an adult fantasy, whereas Divine Rivals is young adult fantasy, so maybe that's why I preferred the writing in this one. And yeah, I really highly recommend reading this. Alright, the next two books I bought recently, and they are these two beautiful Juliet Marillier books. So a bit of a story, I actually read an arc of the Amber Owl and I loved it so much that I went to buy a final copy of this book, and I had no idea that Juliet Marillier actually lives in Western Australia. The Amber Owl is actually the very first book that I read by her. I received an arc from the publisher. There was an author event in the bookstore that I picked these books up in, and that bookstore is Stefan's Books. Stefan is so passionate and he is always so enthusiastic when people come in and ask him for recommendations. I had the joy of hearing him recommend some amazing fantasy books to some of his customers, and I actually rang up to him because Juliet Marillier was in an author event at Stefan's Books where she was talking about the Amber Owl and she signed some copies there as well. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend, so I called up the bookstore to ask if there were any leftover signed copies, and Stefan said yes, there were leftover signed copies, and that there were also signed copies of Juliet Marillier's other book, which is Mother of Thorn. Look at this beautiful hardback edition. This is so pretty. I am truly in awe, and I also just know that I will absolutely love this. This is signed by Juliet Marillier, which is very, very cool, and the Amber Owl is also signed, which is again very cool. I am tempted to also get another personalized copy. I think Dimix is doing an author event next week, but unfortunately I'll be away for work that day, which is a little bit upsetting, but I will try and ask Dimix if there is the opportunity for personalized copies to be reserved, because it would be really amazing to own a Juliet Marillier book that's signed and personalized. So I'll talk about the Amber Owl just because I have already read this. So the Amber Owl follows Stasia, and she has this really deep connection with nature and animals, and so when a group of soldiers descend upon Hardwood, which is a little village that Stasia lives in, she is forced to sort of fight the fight between man and nature. And so these soldiers have a plan to hack a path through the forests of Hardwood just to get to the resources that they want to profit out of, essentially. Stasia is pretty much the only person to Protect the Forest. This book, you guys, I cannot believe this is my very first Juliet Marillier book because I absolutely love this so much. I binge read I think 150 pages of this book in maybe an hour and a half just because it was so good. I love that it's very character driven but also has high stakes. The animal connection depicted in this book was so special. There's like an animal companion. Stasia is so gentle to all of the woodland creatures and all of the other animals and even plants throughout this book, which is so special to see. There is a bit of romance in this book, but absolutely no spice, which I adore. I am not too big on spice in books, so this was perfect for me. Honestly, I love the ending of this book so much, and the fact that this is going to be a duology, so there's going to be a sequel to this, which I'm so excited for. The most perfect ending that I've ever read about, and the fact that we're getting more of these characters in the next book, just I'm so excited. And I've now gone into a rabbit hole of hunting down Juliet Marillier's other books, which I'm so excited to read about. I know a lot of people recommended me Daughter of the Forest, which is her very first book, I think, in the Seven Waters series. So yeah, I am so keen to read her other books because I love The Ember Owl so much. Alright, so those are all of the books that I bought myself. Now we're going to our second category, which is books that were given to me and were sent to me by publishers. So just as a segue from my gushing of Juliet Marillier's new book, this was the ARC that I received from the publisher. As you can see, the cover here has this quote which says, "Only she can protect the forest," which very true. This is what it looks like. You can see that I have also tabbed this to the brim. You can tell that I absolutely love the ending as well because you can see the tabs are heaviest towards the end. I honestly wish I can attend one of those author events because I really want Juliet Marillier to sign my ARC, but alas, I couldn't attend any of her author events, which is again really upsetting, but I'm still happy to support her work and her books, and I'm really happy still to own a signed copy of The Ember Owl. Alright, the next book is super special to me because it was actually sent to me by a friend from my book club. Polly, if you're watching this, thank you so much for sending over this book. I honestly cannot ever imagine being sent a book from online friends, so this is again so special to me, and once again thank you so much, Polly. I will forever cherish this book. So the book is The Children of Gods and Finding Men by Shauna Wallace. I don't actually know much about this book, but I remember Polly talking about this book in our Discord book club chat, and it's because of her that I actually add this book to my Goodreads TBR. And so to find out that she sent this to me as a surprise was so cute because she's the reason why I wanted to read this book in the first place. So this is honestly such a special book to me now. Just from reading the synopsis, there's lots of magic and political intrigue and war, a bit of Irish history, and yeah, I'm honestly really excited to read this book. I'm just waiting for the right time to pick this up, but yeah, I am sure to annotate this book as well, and Polly has been telling me that I will love this, and I trust her recommendations so much because I feel like we read very similar books, so yeah, I'm very excited to get into this. Alright, we have 3 more books to go, so bear with me. I hope you're enjoying this book haul so far. I honestly have been having so much fun talking about these books, so yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. Okay, the next book that I have is Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reid. I received this beautiful proof copy from Penguin. I was not expecting to receive this, so this was a very special surprise. So I honestly love Ava Reid. I loved A Study of Drowning so much. I'm so excited for A Theory of Dreaming that's coming out this year. I really liked Lady Macbeth as well. I think Ava Reid has this way of writing books that just grips you from the very beginning, and I loved her characters as well. She has this sort of snappy writing that just is so addicting to read through, and you honestly get through her books very quickly because of that. So just from reading the synopsis, I believe this book follows 2 girls, Inessa and Mel. Inessa's mom accrued this huge debt that pretty much forces her to put one of her children, which I think is Inessa, to go through this deadly gauntlet where I think it's sort of similar to like the Hunger Games, where you're just sort of put there for people's entertainment. So it's a live streamed assassination spectacle, which sounds pretty terrifying to be honest. And Mel is responsible for assassinating these debtors who go into the gauntlet, and so the story follows both these girls as they navigate through their own pathways. And yeah, this just reminds me of Hunger Games, to be honest. It's pegged as a dystopian romance and honestly reminds me of my high school days because I used to read so much dystopian romance as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what all the hype is about for this. I've heard lots of really good things actually, and honestly, I love Ava Reed's writing again, so I am very excited to get into this. The next book is also from Penguin, and it was sent to me unsolicited, so what that means is I didn't request for this book, and it's nice to receive unsolicited books in the mail because you just never know what's going to be in it. So that book is Air of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray. This is such a cool looking arc. It's so mysterious and kind of angsty, which I really like. So I actually haven't heard of this book before, but it says here, an epic YA romantasy in the style of Twin Crowns and early Sarah J Maas with a touch of the Hunger Games. Very interesting. I will read the synopsis to you guys. When Blaze came to the world, she almost drowned it. Blaze, a rain singer, is born into one of the most powerful fire-wielding families in the Empire. Her birth summoned a devastating storm that resulted in the deaths of thousands, and she has spent her life as an outsider, reviled and feared. When Blaze and her twin brother Flint are selected to compete in the Choosing Right, the trials which decide the future rules of the Empire, she's suddenly thrust into the limelight and into battle. Threats abound at the Golden Palace, where intrigue and romance await with not one but two handsome suitors, the enchanting crown prince and a dangerously alluring newcomer at court. But, in order to take the crown, she'll have to leave behind the stories that others have told about her, and find the courage to write her own. This sounds very interesting, and I feel like it's going to be a very fast-paced fantasy YA, which I feel like I would need once in a while just as a palate cleanser, so very grateful for this arc. Thank you, Penguin. I'm very excited to get into this. Alright, we are down to our very last book. This one is super exciting, and it is the most recent book mail that I received from a publisher. This one was kindly sent to me by Hachette and The Bookish Type. It's one of my most anticipated reads ever, so I'll show you guys what the box looks like. Can you see that? It says, open for the new Rachel Gillig. I feel like some of you guys may know what this is, but I will open up the box and show you. So as you open this, there is a note. So the note says, there are endless reasons why I love this book and hope you will too. The reasons I love the Shepherd King duology, the highly immersive writing, the gothic atmosphere, the relentless yearning, accessible and interesting world building, and amazing female characters are all in The Night and the Moth to a supercharged extent. In The Night and the Moth, we meet Sybil, who is a diviner, someone who can predict the future through her dreams and readings of omens. Just as she is nearing the end of her service, a very hot, eyeliner-wearing heretical knight called Roderick arrives at the cathedral, which also coincides with Sybil's fellow diviners vanishing one by one. In order to find answers, Sybil seeks Roderick's help and a quest begins. The Night and the Moth is out on May 27th, and I cannot wait to hear what you think. Happy reading! This is so exciting. This is actually one of my most anticipated reads of 2025 as well. I actually did read One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig for one of our book club picks again. I'm pretty sure which was in December or January, I don't remember. And I adored Rachel Gillig's writing so much. I agree that she writes gothic stories so well. It was so immersive and so dark and just so beautifully written. So I am very excited for The Night and the Moth, which is her new release this year. I have actually unboxed this book on my Instagram and my TikTok, and yes, I did rewrap this pretty sorrowfully. I will put a picture up here of what the original package looks like, but I remember just being in awe of the package when I first opened it. So I'll show you guys what these are first. So we have these cards. So we first have a loomstone, coin, we have an oar, chime, an inkwell, and a moth. These are just so pretty, I love them. And in the back there are quotes here. I probably won't show them just to avoid, well, I don't think there are spoilers in these, but just to make sure that I don't spoil it for anyone, and I don't want to read these quotes as well, just so that I can go into the book completely blind. And this is the book in question. It's beautifully wrapped. I will untie the ribbon. This is the arc of The Night and the Moth. This is such a stunning arc. I love this cover so much. It's just so alluring and mysterious and so gothic. I love gothic covers like these so much. It's just so stunning. I love it. To tell a story is in some part to tell a lie. That's an incredible quote. Rebecca Ross even blurbed this. She said, "Dreamy prose, characters so vibrant they breathe on the page, a romance that smolders and a spellbinding world to get lost in. Prepare to meet your next obsession." Oh, I'm so excited for this, and I'm so grateful for this arc. Thank you again to Hachette and the Bookish Type. I love you guys. This is incredible. Thank you. So these are all of the books that I hauled today. It's a pretty incredible stack, if I do say so myself. Thank you guys for tuning in, and if you stuck till the end, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Honestly, I had so much fun talking about these books, and I really want to do this more often. I feel like I'm able to say so much more about these books, and hopefully you guys found some new recommendations to pick up as well. And yeah, thank you again to the Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. I will end this video, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!